Hey, Anton. Good to see you.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. By the way, I think the film is called Refuge, not Refugee.
Refuge?
Yeah, Refuge. Yeah.
Yo, what? Sorry. I'm so sorry. I mispronounced your name. I mispronounced the name of your movie. What am I doing?
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Okay. How do we say your name correctly?
Anton Sigurdsson, but in your case, you say Anton Sigurdsson.
Anton Sigurdsson. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Anton. Tell us
Yeah.
about your film.
Well, it's basically a movie about a group of friends who have met every year on their yearly fishing trip. They're friends from back where they grew up, and one of them has his daughter missing, and they go to the cabin that they always stay in, and then they start drinking and having fun, and then three of them wake up tied to a chair, and the father of the missing daughter, he reads from a diary entry from her, which has one of his friends mentioned that is a friend of hers, and that sets in motion nobody leaves until we figure all this out together.
I've got the trailer so I can share. I want to share this with our audience to give them a taste of your movie. I've got it right here. Let's watch it together, and then we'll talk about it after. Here we go. Refuge.
I remember this place being bigger.
Entrevue? Oh, man, when was the last time we were here? Oh, God, it's got to be, I don't know, 4 years.
I got a bad feeling about this.
What can go wrong with a fishing trip?
What is going on? What is this, some kind of game? Well, that depends on you.
A citywide search is underway for 10-year-old Sophie McKenzie.
You know, it's amazing how fast the last 4 years have gone. I was there all the time. A diary entry. It tells me that one of you were involved in her disappearance. Tell me where my daughter...
Do you have anything to do with this?
Barry, are you okay? He's clearly lost his mind. We gotta get out of here.
We're tied to chairs. How are we gonna get out of here, Mike?
Let me be crystal clear. Not one of you is leaving here until I get a confession. Now, I have 6 bullets in this gun. I only need 3.
Barry, you got something to say?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
You gone insane?
Oh, I have never felt more sane in my entire life.
Nice.
Oh, my God.
Ultimately, it's a story about hope. That's, I think, ultimately, it's a story about hope. But
and maybe not judging by the trailer, but it actually has humor in it, believe it or not. So it's actually like, you know, but me being Icelandic, so we have a little bit of dark humor. So
nice. Now, I love a nice taut thriller in like a single location. Was that part of the intention with this, to create that tense? I mean, they're all tied to chairs in a cabin.
Yeah. So this was a project I had been brewing for a time. I had like a bigger version of it, etc., etc. Then obviously what happens is you kind of get the money you raise, and there wasn't a lot. So you kind of play with what you got. And I think by making it contained, started making the story better. It's a contained story about friendships, everything that they go through. They know each other really well, so they also can say, hey, he did it because of this, because of that, and then the other one goes. So they're throwing each other kind of under the bus to get out of there. And then, you know, at the same time, did nobody do it? Like, that's kind of the question that we start looking into. So the contained setting makes it a pressure cooker from the start. It's a tight tight 90-minute film and not a lot of wasted space in that, and a lot of fun.
And I need to mention that the movie is on VOD today. Is that right?
Yeah, it's out today, and yeah, you can see for yourself.
We've got over 1,000 people watching live here on YouTube, and we've got a lot of questions from our audience. Alan, if you would help me with these questions.
Yes.
Here we go.
All right, from ADLS24. You shot this in Lake Placid. What was it like shooting in such a beautiful and historic town? How was getting a crew in? How was it getting a crew in such a place?
Lake Placid was fantastic. Obviously, I think the setting speaks for itself in the movie. The beautiful setting. We had people in town who were great, but we also had some people coming from New York. We weren't a big crew, but the film commission in Lake Placid was really helpful. And then we had one of the producers is from the area, so he could pull a lot of strings. And I couldn't have been more happier with everybody from where we lived into how we crewed up. It was great.
So was that an actual house or was that a set?
It's all shot on location, no sets built. It was all yeah. We scouted for a pretty long time, but we got lucky. In places like Lake Placid, you get lucky if you scout well enough.
All right, Sons and Shadowcast asks, looks cool for physical media collectors. Any plans on DVD or Blu-ray down the road?
That is something that Saban Films have to answer for. I am not sure about that. I would hope it.
Yeah. As we all would.
Yeah.
Thanks, Solomon. Greetings, Sir Anton. What was your approaching of the building up of suspense scenes in a thriller? Yeah, how do you approach building up suspense in a thriller?
Oh, it's I'm young, but I've been in it for a long time. I did my first project in 2014 when I was early 20s. So over time, you build up something. You know a little bit more every project you go into. The rule was, if it doesn't have a pressure cooker, it's out. And then I also I'm a writer director, and when I direct a film, I hate the writer. And a lot of times we would just take out dialogue. We would just throw it out and see what the cast could do. I had a fantastic cast. We had auditions, and we watched over 10,000 actors, and we ended up with these 4. They were great. They were really in character the whole time. It was a difficult shoot in that way, but it was just whenever we are relaxed, that's not good enough. So we just kept building and building and building. I also shoot in a chronological order. So the first scene is shot, and then the second, and etc. So I also feel the movie going, and I can see if it needs reshaping while filming. So that allowed the actors to kind of know their character better, versus sometimes you shoot scene 2 and then scene 16 and then scene 72 on the same day.
How many days did it take?
We shot this movie on 12 crazy days.
Okay.
What?
Yes.
Crazy.
12 days, and with little money. But people were gracious. We had a great crew who were, sometimes you get reminded why we do this. And this was one of those projects.
Yeah, we're still making a movie. That's the
yeah.
ADLS24. Middle-aged male friends going on vacation to a remote location and things go awry. Could be its own subgenre. Did you look at other films in that realm before putting your own spin on that story?
Yeah, I did. I probably also subconsciously I did. I remember seeing a film I like movies in the 90s. Like this movie this is there was this movie with Christopher Walken. I remember the name now. I think something named Kings, which was pretty similar to this. There's an Israeli movie called Bad Wolves, really good movie. Obviously most people pointed Prisoners, which is a fantastic movie, but kind of the only similarities are the missing girl, and then, but it was also drawn out of inspiration from Icelandic stories I'd heard over the years where I grew up. Some kind of like folk stories about what had happened, and and some of it were not true. Some of it had gotten darker and darker over how much Icelandic people drink at the bar. So, but I always kept to those stories. So I would, put a lot of that in. Suicide Kings is the name of the film. That I was kind of remember always when I saw that film, I was like, that's a pretty cool film, and I like that '90s vibe.
All right, the nerd far away. Hell, Mr. Sigurdsson, was it more cost effective to shoot on location as opposed to building a set? Did you have to dress your location to get the look you wanted?
So I only shoot on location. I was just shooting last summer a pretty big film up in New Mexico. That was nothing on set. It was all location. This was that as well. We scouted a lot and we found a great house. We did set dress it, of course, like you always do, but we also played with what we had. So we kind of worked with what we had and then we dressed it. Cost effective, like I can only speak for myself that I don't even speak the language of a set. So
I have a feeling you'll never make a movie in Los Angeles.
No.
Matthew Hammond for 2. What pre-production was done to shoot in 12 days? Yeah, what's the prep like for shooting in 12 days?
Oh, it was a long prep. It was a very long prep. And we had rehearsals. So I had a few days with actors in rehearsal, which I thought was, for this type of budget, more necessary than a filming day, because then you just have the actors, you work with the actors. And then, you get the crew in on lesser days, and that affects your budget. Pre-production this was months.
Razorburn, Anton, is there a large horror community in Iceland?
I think there's nothing large in Iceland. We're only 350,000 people. So we kind of, everything for us is unlarge, but yeah, there is like we believe in elves and fairies, and that's in our rooted nature, and we tell great ghost stories. Icelandic people are great storytellers. And yeah, there is, there's a big movie community in Iceland, and compared to how few we are, I would say per capita, we're probably pretty high in the horror community. Yeah.
And here's a great question to end on here as we wrap up. Right here.
Yeah, from Eric. Hold up. I'm going to a condo on a lake this summer with a bunch of friends. Should I cancel that vacay? No, in fact, you should bring cameras.
Yeah.
Shoot a movie.
Yeah. I encourage you to look at the movie tonight and then make up your own mind, Eric.
Oh, great. Well, hey, Refuge is actually on VOD now. Check it out. Anton, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Congrats on the movie. And when you make your next film, please come by and talk to us.
Thank you, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.